want to share with you today from one of my favorite places here in the garden, which is where I come every morning and ground and receive so much wisdom. It's really my greatest teaching and teacher here in nature, and I'm so fortunate to be able to have this space. I know, especially here in the city. So I wanted to be here with this practice today because it's a practice to support us coming back into connection in every and all directions. I have a sense that at the moment we are being invited to come into ever greater self-responsibility, and we'll experience this more and more, and are experiencing it already, as restrictions are lifted and then perhaps they're not lifted, as we lean into and come out of blame and lean into the complexity of making blanket decisions for a population. And the invitation there to really find our own self-responsibility that's founded in kindness and respect for all beings, whilst at the same time staying deeply connected to our own sovereignty and our own discriminating wisdom. So I feel that that's certainly something that I'm going to be leaning into over these next few weeks, and perhaps sharing with you more. But to me, the ground for this, the starting point, the essential place that we need to cultivate first, is shifting out of the separation perspective, which is a fear-based perspective. It's a place we find ourselves to exist in when we allow ourselves to become disconnected from the whole. And from that perspective, it's very, very difficult to operate in the ways that I described. From a fear-based perspective, it's very difficult to operate from kindness, from respect. It's very difficult to sit inside complexity and remain open-hearted in that unknowing space. So we'll practice today a Yin Yoga practice, mainly targeting the kidney and urinary bladder meridians that support our movement from fear into connectedness and belonging, with the intention of incrementally reconnecting first to that orientation of kindness, from there to our own bodies, to our hearts, to our minds. From there, deepening the vertical connection, the relationship to spirit, nature, the universe, however it is that you relate to that which is beyond our own personal sphere. So we'll be connecting to earth and sky, and ultimately connecting at a soul level to the deeper knowing of who we really are and what we're here for. With a Yin Yoga practice, unlike a restorative practice, it isn't one that we need props for, but you might find props useful, especially if you're stiff. So if you have a bolster or just a pile of cushions and some blankets, you're going to want to be warm. You might want to have a strap for one of the postures, but again, none of these are essential. So we're going to begin in a wide knee child's pose. I'm going to be using a timer to time us for 3-minute holds, and I'll allow some space for those of you who would like to and feel able to stay a little bit longer, while the rest of us use that time to feel the resonance of the posture in our bodies as we come into a neutral posture. In a wide-kneed child's pose, you sit on your heels. If you can't sit on your heels, come and put padding cushions in between your hips and your heels so that your hips are definitely grounded. You can have your big toes together, and then take the knees as wide apart as they can go whilst you're still sitting down. We're wanting to feel the effect of the posture in the inner thighs, the inner groins. And then you come forward again to your capacity. So if you need to support your body on bolsters, then do. You want your head to be resting. Once you find a shape that you feel you can become still in, and take a slow, deep inhale through the nose, and breathe out with a sigh or a sound through your mouth. So Yin Yoga is a practice whereby we take shapes and hold them passively for several minutes. 3 to 5 minutes is the right amount for an average population, but for those of you who can hold longer, then up to 10, 15, even 20 minutes can be very powerful sometimes. And the intention of this passive long hold is so that we stimulate the deeper connective tissue that runs close to the bone, especially around the joint sites, particularly focusing on the legs, the hips, the spinal column. And it's thought that the meridians described in Chinese medicine, the energy pathways, run through this connective tissue. So when we stimulate the connective tissue through compression or tension, more life force, chi, prana, flows to these areas. And because these are the sites where the meridians themselves run, it means that we charge or balance the energy systems in our body this way. So this is how Yin Yoga can support us at an energetic level, at a physical and energetic level. But it's also, of course, such a powerful practice for presence. Since there is nowhere to go and nothing to do for periods of time. So just for these last few breaths now. As you feel where your body is, taking one more slow, deep inhale and exhaling out with a sigh through your mouth. And those of you who would like to stay a little longer, do. Those of you who are ready to come out, when you come out of Yin Yoga postures, come out very slowly. So slowly inhale and lift yourself up. Then bring your knees together one at a time. Take your feet to the side and extend out the legs and either just lean back in your hands or come all the way to lie down, so that you can let yourself completely be neutral and feel the ground. Let the rebound move through your body. So as I mentioned earlier, the essential orientation of heart and mind that allows us to come into connection is the orientation of kindness. It's not possible to be the sensitive human being that we are if we meet ourselves and if we meet this moment with violence. So whichever posture you're in, slowly bring yourself out. If you're lying down, you can either bend your knees to your chest and roll up through the spine or roll to the side to come out. Taking your time as you move, we're going to come next into square pose, which will either be with the right shin on top of the leg, left for those of you who are mobile in the hips. If your knee is up here, or if you feel any uncomfort in your inner knees, put the leg in front, Sukhasana. If you find that sitting with one leg in front of the other, your knees are lifted and your hips and pelvis tilt back, then sit up on as much height as you need, taking the buttock flesh back so that you're on the front of your sit bones and so that you can tilt forward. So we're going to come into a forward bending shape to whatever your capacity is, appreciating that we'll hold this for 3 to 5 minutes. If possible, supporting your head, whether it's your head in your hands or your head on a prop or on the floor. Again, once you're in the shape, having found a shape that you feel is sustainable for you, intend to become still. And turn to your breathing and take a slow, deep inhale. And exhale out through your mouth. Release the jaw. You can open your mouth wide. Yawn if a yawn comes. Let the head feel heavy. The muscles behind your eyes soft. And just beginning to invite in consciously this attitude of kindness, of metta, maitri. As if there was a soft smile in between your eyebrows and the third eye. And a soft smile at the root of your tongue. And a soft smile in the center of your heart, where you recognize the tenderness of the sensitive, vulnerable human being that you are. And such a kindness there offered. A kindness towards the moments of beauty and a kindness towards the moments that feel so painful. A kindness towards your own critic, your own judge. And again, those of you who wish to stay a little longer, then stay moving very slowly. Those of you ready to come out, lifting yourself up, noticing which leg is in front or on top, and then extending out. You can give your body a little rock, leaning your attention to the back of your body, as if you're listening and feeling more from the back. Observing and feeling the rebound, the resonance of the shape you've just been in. And then if you're still in the posture, slowly inhale and bring yourself up, extending out the legs, pausing. And coming when you're ready to the second side. So your other leg in front or on top, it might be your left leg. Widening the backs of the thighs, seeing if you need more or less height on this side. And bring yourself forward to whatever your appropriate edge is. The appropriate edge is a place where you are challenged by the shape, and in this shape we're wanting to feel the sensations in the outer hips and the IT band, maybe along the outer thighs, and also along the spine in the forward bend movement. So if you feel, as I said before, sensations instead strongly in the knees, especially the inner knees, you need to adjust. Sitting higher with your hips, perhaps supporting the knees, perhaps not coming so far forward. Coming to our appropriate edge needs to be a place where there can be some degree of relaxation so that we can enter the experience and not go to war with it. We don't push to a point where we're tense. And when we find that place, once again, intend to become still. Take a slow, deep inhale and exhale out through your mouth. So it's with kindness then, with this gentleness, that we begin to turn our attention towards the body. Feeling the sensations in your body, not as ideas or concepts in the mind, not as the idea or concept of pain, the story of how stiff I am or how good I am. But see if you can turn towards these sensations rather as if they had no names, as if there was no judgment associated. With curiosity and with kindness. Once again, those of you who feel you'd like to stay a little longer, then please do. Those of you who are ready to come out, very slowly, moving yourself out. Once again, coming back either with the legs extended, leaning back on the hands, or all the way to lie down. Letting your mouth be slightly open. Always space between the back teeth. Feeling the rebound, the resonance. How the sensations, the aliveness, the heat is invited to spread throughout the body. And whether there's a easeful and sweet feeling in your body right now, or whether there's intensity if you're still in the shade. How does it feel to embrace this with curiosity? A curiosity that wants to come closer, that wants to feel into this shifting, changing experience that we call aliveness. And with kindness. With a kindness that's willing to allow. Slowly bringing yourself up. If you're lying down, bend your knees to the chest and either roll up or roll to the side. And coming next into Dragonfly with the legs wide. So as before, see if you need to sit on height in order to be on the front of the sit bones. If your pelvis is tilted back, it's very hard to come forward with the spine. So it might be that you need to sit on height, and upright might be the place that you stay, maybe with your hands behind you to keep you lifted. It's also possible and helpful to do this posture if there's a lot of stiffness in the legs, and if you've got access to a wall, lying down on your back with your legs up the wall and the feet wide. So we're going to come forward to your capacity, using the support that you need. Whether it's your hands coming forward, whether it's resting your head on a chair, or coming all the way forward onto a bolster or to the floor. Unlike an active yoga practice where we consciously engage the muscles, stabilize the legs, here in Dragonfly, as opposed to Upavista Konasana, we allow the legs to be relaxed. They might roll in or roll out. And it's very interesting for me as a practitioner of both forms, active and Yin Yoga, to experience the different effect of being in these postures in a passive way and being in them in an active way. Once again, when you find a position where you can be present and yet relaxed, then become still. Take a slow, deep inhale and exhale with a sigh. And invite this attitude of curiosity and kindness to widen and spread through your body. Feeling the physical sensations, and discovering how it is and how it feels to not go to war with this moment. to not try to fix it or change it, and equally to not run away from it. How it is and how it feels to take an exhale out through your mouth. And relax into this kindness that permeates, that holds whatever intensity or ease might be here. And so as you're in the posture, you might also notice that when we attend with a willingness to feel whatever's here in our body, part of what is here in our experience, in our body, is the emotional world. So when we learn to become close to physical sensations, inevitably we begin to include emotional sensations. When we come into the body, we inevitably also come to the heart. If you would like to stay a little longer, then please do. Otherwise, moving very slowly as you bring yourself up. Using your hands to help bend the knees or bring the legs together. And once again, come to a neutral posture. And so just let your intention turn towards the space of the heart now. Infused with the same kindness and curiosity. Breathing into the space of the heart. And the invitation is to recognize what is here for you right now and to allow it, to simply make space for it. And those of you who might still be in the Dragonfly forward bend, slowly inhale and bring yourself up and also to a neutral shape. Recognizing and allowing. And when you're ready to, bend your knees to your chest if you're lying down and roll up or to the side. Coming next into butterfly, where the soles of the feet are together, but the feet are a couple of feet away from the pelvis, so it's a diamond shape in between the legs. See that you're seated on the front of the sit bones, so sit on as much height as you need. This posture can also be done lying flat or with the legs up the wall, soles of the feet together, as in the previous posture. So once again, when we come forward, we come to wherever the spine and the head come to, without pushing or pulling or forcing. Because the head is so heavy, it can help us to quieten the mind if the head is resting. But it's also fine just to allow the head to hang if that's not problematic on your neck or the spine. As your body becomes still, take a slow, deep inhale and exhale with a sigh. Release the jaw, soften the eyes. And invite your breathing to be the messenger that spreads this kindness, this curiosity through your body. Touching the places of tenderness. And softening around them. Whether it's the tenderness of stiffness or stagnation in the body, or the tenderness of grief, anger, fear, that may also be stagnating, trapped in the body. Recognizing and allowing. Becoming the kindness, the gentleness that holds whatever is here. For those of you who'd like to stay longer, please do. Those of you ready to come up, move very slowly. Bring your knees together. And come to either lean back on your hands or lie down. As you feel the resonance, the rebound of butterfly pose in your body. The way the sensations, tingling, throbbing, pulsing, heat, begins to spread. Let yourself feel that you're bathing yourself in this field, this energy of kindness. And those of you still in the posture, slowly inhale and bring yourself up. If you're lying down, bend your knees to your waist and roll up or roll to the sides. Let's just come to a seated, comfortable seated posture. Either legs crossed, or you could fold your legs back in Virasana. Spine lifted. Eyes closed. Releasing the jaw. Feeling first your body. Touching with this kindness, the sensations of being here. Feeling the heart. Recognizing and allowing, as whatever you're feeling is held in kindness. In forgiveness. And then with your jaw released and the muscles behind your eyes very soft, let your attention come into the space inside your head. And feel that your brain were like any other muscle in the body, which you invite to relax. Taking a slow, deep inhale and exhale with a sigh. As you recognize and allow whatever state of mind might be here today. Can you be curious about what agitation actually feels like, if that's what's here? What worry, anxiety, or pensiveness feels like in your body and in the mind. Can we honor these mind states too, without falling into them, without being enslaved by them? So we enter a space where whatever is arising in body, heart, and mind is recognized and allowed, and simply met with kindness, with curiosity, with gentleness. And widening your attention to include the sense of the space around you as you quietly open your eyes. And extend out your legs. And when you're ready to, we're going to come into a posture called saddle, which lengthens the front of the thighs and stimulates the kidney meridian where it travels through the tailbone to the sacral lumbar area. So it's the base of the spine that we're wanting to bring into a back bend. It's often an area that becomes very collapsed like this the older we get, whereas a baby will have a very natural movement and a lot of aliveness, juiciness in their kidneys. So sitting on your heels, I'll, as before, use as many props as you need to. If your restrictions are in the knees and the ankles, you can put blankets under the shins. You can put cushions between your hips and your heels. And if that's the case for you, then this seated position will be the one that you stay in. So if you can come comfortably to this seated position, then the knees can be wherever they come to. For most people, a little bit apart is what feels comfortable. We want to keep the weight towards the front of the sit bones rather than tucking the tailbone forward when we come back, because we're actually wanting to create a curve in the lumbosacral area. So it might be that you come back here. It might be that you come back onto a bolster or cushions on top of a bolster. It might be that you come back, first I'll show this way with elbows onto a bolster. You can see I'm curving in the lower back, laying along the bolster, or all the way to the floor. Shoulders and head coming down to the floor, lower back curving off the floor. This is different from the active posture Supta Virasana. This is called saddle. We're wanting to feel sensations in the tops of the thighs and the groins and in the lumbosacral area, more than the waist. So it's really quite low down that we're wanting to create the curve. If the knees come off the floor a little, that's fine, as long as there's no pain in the inner knees. For many people, this is a posture that's more intense. So this is an opportunity to explore how we can be in relation to intensity. Using your breathing. Deepening your inhalations and directing both the energy of the inhalation and your attention towards the areas of strong sensation. Exhaling out softly through the mouth and inviting the energy of your breath and your attention to rest with the strong sensation and soften around it. So we're using our breathing to turn our attention towards difficulty and soften there with kindness. To turn towards and there. To meet whatever arises in our life by turning towards it and softening around it with kindness. For those of you who can stay a little longer, please do, if you choose. Otherwise, again, carefully and slowly lift yourself up. Extend out your legs and come to a neutral posture. Completely letting go. Feeling the sensations in your body. The emotions and mind states. And relaxing into the power of kindness. The strength of kindness. In its capacity, in the breadth of its embrace, to literally hold everything. We're going to make our way now onto lying flat on your front. So if you're ready on your back, you can just roll over. If you've been in saddle, you can quietly lift yourself up and then come all the way forward and release out your legs behind you. And become flat with your head turned to the side, letting the ground hold you. Again, deep inhale, exhale with a sigh. When the kidneys are out of balance, we tend to experience reality through the lens of separation and fear, which go together because as soon as we believe we're separate from each other, from the earth, from spirit, mind, separate from body, separate from heart, as soon as we believe ourselves to be separate, the inevitable response is fear. And so the more we experience fear, the more our kidneys are weakened. And the more our kidneys are weakened, the more we experience reality through that lens of fear. So we're going to continue to support and strengthen the kidneys in this back bend shape, coming up into Sphinx posture. With the elbows under the shoulders, palms can be together. The elbows can be slightly narrower than the shoulders to give a little bit more support to the structure of the support to the spine. And the head in a neutral posture. Becoming still. Finding your breathing. noticing where you're feeling most sensation in this shape. So we're wanting the sensation to be in the area at the top of the sacrum, where the top of the sacrum meets the lumbar spine. The sacrum is the flat triangular bone at the base of the spine. So some people are very stiff in that joint just above the sacrum, but mobile here in the lower back. So if there's no movement happening here and just in the waist, then actually do less. Take your elbows a little further forward so that you can honor the stiffness in the area of your body that it's in. And invite movement and stimulation to come in that area that most supports the kidney. Beginning to breathe in the way that you were breathing earlier, with the inhalations drawing your attention down, the exhalations softening around. But beginning also now to come into relationship, to consciously feel and be aware of the presence of ground beneath you. Feeling the way the ground, the earth herself, supports you. And as you release your jaw and breathe right down into your womb, if you're a woman, your hara is the name given from the Zen tradition to that energetic center, whether male or female. It's our earth center, and feeling this area of your body in contact with ground, earth connecting with earth. So as we stay now for another 3 minutes, if you need to come out, then you come back down and rest on the ground. If you feel able to stay in this posture, then do so. And for those of you who would like to come up into seal, you come to straighten the arms, hands turned slightly out. And so as long as there's no injury in the lower back, in which case you need to use muscular support to support that area, and you wouldn't come deeply into the posture. As long as there's no injury, we keep the muscles of the glutes and the legs relaxed. And again, a slow, deep inhale and an exhale with a sigh. And you might even choose to exhale out through your mouth with a sound, a bit like an om, but just an ah sound all the way to the end of the exhale. I'll show that now. Repeating as many times as feels good to you, releasing the jaw, even slightly wiggling in the pelvis to feel the connection there, all the way down through the pelvic floors, the upper palate, the throat, the diaphragm, and the pelvic floor at the base. Opening that channel which connects us to the energy of the earth. And still feeling earth beneath you, whether you're lucky enough to be outside and on the earth, or whether you're sensing roots growing from whichever parts of your body are in contact with the ground, down through the floor, through the foundations of the building, into earth herself. The connection is always here. Again, if you'd like to stay a little longer in whichever shape you're in, then feel free to stay. Otherwise, slowly lowering yourself back down to the ground. And resting here completely, not being in a hurry to move or adjust. Instead, inviting your breathing to move into the area of your lower back. As you relax the pelvic floor, let your inhalation expand that area around the sacrum and the lower back. And your exhalation soften there. And see how much more of the weight of your body you can give into the earth right now. There's a sense I get that the more I give my weight to the earth, the more she rises up to meet me and hold me. It's the reminder that everything exists as a relationship. Everything is in relationship, which means that everything is inviting us into the dance. If you've still been in seal or Sphinx, then make your way down to the ground and rest there. And then when you're ready, roll onto your back. It's not necessary, but you might want a strap within reach. And begin with your knees bent and your hands on the womb or the hara. Your feet apart, your knees resting together if that's comfortable for you. So still turning your attention to follow your breath into the womb, into the hara. And then bringing your feet back to hip width apart and drawing one knee towards your chest. And placing that foot down and drawing the other knee towards your chest. And then placing that foot down and drawing your right knee towards your chest. And then place your right outer ankle just above the left knee. You can either stay with the left foot on the floor or pick the left foot off the floor and hold the left thigh with both hands. And you can either stay here or straighten the left leg. Again, either holding the back of the thigh or taking a strap and placing it around the foot. I'm using my elbow to encourage the right knee away from my waist. If you have the left leg straight, you'll also be bringing some extension into the back of the body where the bladder meridian runs. And the kidney and urinary bladder work together as an energetic pair. So they have the same harmonizing potential of taking us out of separation, experienced as fear associated with the kidneys, or as a agitation of the mind associated with the imbalance in the bladder. And taking us from there deep into the remembrance of our connectedness and our belonging. So take a slow, deep inhale and exhale with a sigh. The energy of the earth is known in many indigenous cultures and felt to be this feminine energy of unconditional love, of holding, this quality of allowing that we've been inviting into our own experience. It's the embrace and the space of the womb. So releasing this side, placing your feet down and resting your hands back on the womb or the hara. Feeling the ground holding your back now. Resting the back of your head, your kidneys. And coming to the second side when you're ready. Left outer ankle above the right knee. Right foot stays on the floor or on a wall. Or you hold the back of the thigh. Or you might extend the leg. So let yourself really feel and rest into that quality of holding. The depth of support. The invitation into unconditionality. That the earth is teaching you and showing you right now. And then bend both knees. You can place your feet back down, rest your hands on the womb or the hara. And if you'd like to, you could open the eyes but keep them soft. And sense the energy of the sky, which is an energy that you might be familiar with from times that you've been high on mountaintops. It's a different energy to being in the forest or in the jungle or in the earth. It's felt and described as the more masculine expression of love, where the earth expresses compassion. The energy of the sky, the masculine expression, is that of wisdom, of guidance, of clear seeing, of clarity. We're going to come into a seated forward bend, but I'm just going to show an option for those of you who struggle with stiffness in the backs of your legs. So if you have a wall nearby, you could lie on your back with your legs up a wall. Or you could use a strap if you don't have a wall to hold the feet and the legs here at 90 degrees. Otherwise, bend your knees and roll to the side or roll up through the spine to come instead into seated forward bend, or caterpillar in a Yin language. Seated on the front of the sit bones, so sit on as much height as you need. Take any supports you need. It could be a chair, it could be bolsters. And come forward to where you come forward to. Extending the whole of the back of the body, the backs of the legs, the backs of either side of the spine. And directing your breathing also into the back of the body. As if you could see your own back body. It's said that the back of our bodies are connected to the universal element in ourselves. It's through our back bodies that we connect to the universe. Whereas it's through the front of our body that we experience our individuality, our ego sense of self. Feeling yourself right now as a child of the universe, as an expression of the universe. A pearl that encompasses the whole of the universe in your own unique, creative way. As Rumi said, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the whole ocean in one drop. For those of you who would like to stay a little longer, then do. Otherwise, bringing yourself up very slowly and coming to lie down. To feel the resonance, the reverberation. To feel the ground, the earth beneath you and holding you. To feel sky above you. This night sky, when it comes alight with stars, is like a womb arching around us, alive with 1,000,000,000,000 dancing points of light, as Starhawk said. And then those of you who are still in the forward bend, make your way up. And come to lie down for a reclined twist, which you can either do bringing both knees towards the chest and bringing both knees over to the right side, either to the ground or to cushions, so that your left shoulder stays down. Some of you, if you're mobile in the spine or you've got a long waist, you might prefer to cross that left leg over the right so that the hip goes even further over, as long as this left shoulder stays. We want to feel the effect of this posture through the spine and the abdomen. The head can just be neutral. Taking a sigh out of your mouth. Being in surrender here. The sense organ of the body associated with the kidneys and bladder is the ears and the sense of hearing. So invite your inner ears to soften. When you're ready, bring your knees one at a time back to the center. Uncross them first if they were crossed. And then come to the second side when you're ready. Letting sound come to you. The sound in your own space, as well as the sound you'll be receiving of my space. The sounds we love and the sounds we'd prefer not to be here. Recognizing and allowing all. The way in which sound teaches us about impermanence. About receptivity. And in receptivity, about kindness. Bringing your legs slowly to the center. And rolling to the side to bring yourself up. And then coming up to a comfortable seated posture. Make yourself warm if you're outside and the sun's gone in. Have the spine lifted and close your eyes. Coming back as you release your jaw to this sense of the channel running vertically through your body, from the crown of the head, through the womb or hara to the perineum. And begin to inhale in a way that draws your inhalation and your attention and the energy of your breath down through the womb or hara, through the pelvic floor, down into the center of the earth with every breath. Open your mouth, release the jaw. Keep drawing with your breath the energy down from your womb, from your hara, down into the center of the earth. Imagining growing roots deeper and deeper, energetic roots, down through the bedrock of the earth. Until you tap into the energetic center of the earth. Imagine the center of the earth being composed of liquid light, a silvery radiance of liquid light. And as you inhale now, begin to draw that silvery liquid light up from the center of the earth into your own womb, into your own hara. Drawing that energy up with your inhalations and letting it spread and widen there with your exhalations. Bring a hand to your womb, to your hara, and rub there to feel the space inside you that gathers and stores the energy of the earth, of Pachamama, of Gaia. And then bringing another hand to your heart. Bringing your attention to the crown of your head. And imagining a doorway that you choose to open. And breathing up now out of the crown of your head up to our own star, the sun. To the golden light of this energy of wisdom, of clear seeing, to the guidance that it offers us, that's always available to us. And visualizing, if you like, with your breathing, that this golden energy of guidance pours down through the crown of your head into your heart space. Where the wisdom of the heart is filled and balanced by the compassion of the womb or hara. And there's an energetic channel in our own bodies that connect these two energy centers of the heart and the womb or hara. To allow free flow of wisdom and compassion, of unconditional loving, and unlimited seeing. That allows us and invites us to bring the formless energy of the universe, of the stars, of the celestial realms, the formless energy of possibility, down into our body, onto this earth, into our womb, our hara, and to bring it into form. So feel free to stay seated for as long as you choose. And when you're ready to, feel free also to come and lie down. However's most comfortable for you, make sure you're warm. Stretch your mouth wide. You can stick out your tongue like a lion's breath. Yawn if that comes to you. As we come into connection with body, mind and heart, with earth and sky. We come back into this remembrance of what it really means to be in self-responsibility. It's the remembrance of being in alignment with the universe, which is to be in alignment with love. That is our only responsibility. And from that place we both attend with deep kindness, care, curiosity, to whatever is emerging and arising within us and around us. But it's also a space from which we can begin to envision the new. No longer victims from a perspective caught in fear and blame. But recognizing instead the way in which we're so profoundly held by the universe, that we're being invited in every moment into the dance with the universe, which can only arise when we are aligned with love, when we are aligned with the energy of the universe, which is love. So this feels to me also to be such a precious and potent time to begin to envision on a personal level how it is you truly feel called to spend your days. How it is you truly feel called to offer yourself to this world. And that will naturally feed into the envisioning on a collective level. Those of us who are inspired and gifted at levels of institutional change. Those of us who are moved to care, to grow, to teach, to share, to create. It's an envisioning that is no longer an expression of asking the universe for what we think we want, but rather one that comes from this profound connection with all directions, that instead asks the universe what wants to be born through you. Asking the universe what wants to come forward. And in what way you can facilitate and be that birth. If you'd like to stay longer, then please stay as long as you are able. And those of you who would like to come to a seated position to close your practice now, and be very, very slow bringing yourself up. Coming to sit with the palms in front of the heart in a prayer position. Opening your inner ears. The way in which sound brings life to us. Both in comfort and ease, and in challenge. And as you breathe deeply once more, feeling yourself connected through your own central axis to the light of the earth and the light of the stars. Know yourself to be a lighthouse in this time. And in whatever creative way you choose to move this light, by holding the light you are already offering an immeasurable gift back to this earth. Taking a deep inhale into the space of the heart and the womb or hara. And as you exhale, bow your head in such humility and gratitude. Namaste.